Hello, crafty peeps. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty-ish-kristyn. Today, we are going to have ourselves a little whip and chatty rant. What is a whip and chatty rant, you may be asking yourself? WIP, W-I-P, stands for work in progress. And chatty rant is me chatting and ranting about the goings-on in my life over the last week or so. Today, I am still working on Vintage Reindeer Forest from Calming Canvas Designs. I am so close. Like, this is all I have to do. There's some pieces in there, and then those release paper sections, and I am done. I was really hoping to finish this by the end of the month because I'm doing it for the Love for All Seasons event, but you know, I don't think it's gonna happen, and that's okay. I don't think you need a required for finish, and I mean, it's fine if I don't finish. It's, you know, it's like a personal challenge, you know, personal challenges. I am using my Yellow Dog Designs ergonomic tray. Love this thing. Oh my gosh. Love it, love it. And then my hot pink Bijou Bliss tray. I have my little pen from Jim's Pen Shop on Etsy. I have Alien Putty in the single and the multi-placer because I ain't gonna mess around with different kinds of adhesives in one end and the other. I don't got time for that. I don't got time for that. And that is all I am using. Let me zoom in and we can get started. All right, and I forgot to mention my release papers will also be linked in the description box down below, as well as my affiliate link for Calming Canvas Designs. Let's see, let's start with letter F. F. So I hope everybody is, whoa, there goes my dryer sheet already. Was everybody is doing well and amazing. I hope you get to do something fun while we chat and hang out. Hopefully it's not something, you know, boring and lame, but I understand. Sometimes we have to do those things. Let's see. What else? What else? Oh, if you would like your own Pippy the Crafty Peep sticker, there is a link in the description box for the Google document. So far, almost 50 Pippies have gone out into the world, and people are actually receiving them. So I actually address things properly. Go figure. That's a shocker. I'm sure I'll get at least one thing back because, yeah, I am not the best with writing things out and copying numbers exactly and all the jazz and the stuff. So what has been going on? Well, I almost made it the entire month without buying something. Well, I mean, buying a diamond painting, because I did order some release papers from another shop on Etsy, and I ordered some custom release papers, and they should be here, I think by Monday. But I wasn't counting that in my spending, because, you know, it's not a diamond painting, so it doesn't count. But today I did buy something, and I'm not sure if it's like, this is from a new to me company, and I'm not sure if they have, oops, got some alien putty trying to escape the side. I don't know if it's like, you know, one of those where you know, you get to pick your drill shape and your extras and that, and then they order it and then it sends to you, or if they actually have any in stock. So I don't really know. So it could be a week or two. It could be several weeks. I don't know. I'm not running out of diamond paintings though. I do know that. So I will be just fine. And what else? Any other? I did finish the jellyfish painting that I was working on last week. That is my only finish for February. The kitting down for the Diamond Painting Fanatics kit. I think I actually finished at the end of January, so I think the jellyfish is going to be my only finish. But in all fairness, I did have 3 fairly big and confetti heavy squares. So, yep. And I was really hoping to finish this one. But you know what? Real life happens. And that's okay. But I am planning on starting on my fairy kit with the squirrel for Mermaids and Magic. There is still time to help name the squirrel friend in the painting. So if you have a squirrely name that you think might fit my furry friend, then by all means leave it down in the comments. And then there is a Bella Art Diamonds DP along, and I think it said that the requirement is to have a painting that reminds you of a loved one. So technically the squirrel painting fits that. My dad would have been 80 years old yesterday, which is kind of crazy to think that if he was still alive, he would be 80. But he passed away in 2012. So, but the squirrels, so he loved squirrels. We had, our house was on like a cul-de-sac, and can you even see that? No, probably not. Our house was on a cul-de-sac, and there were a bunch of woods right behind the house, and we had a ton of squirrels. Like, I swear, they knew that he was generous with the like peanuts, and so I think they came from miles just to eat in our backyard. They would come and wait at the back door, and like actually paw, you know, at the back door because they wanted to be fed. I think there's probably F's left, but the sun, or well, it's not sun, it's like the overcastness is reflecting and I can't see them, so I'm just gonna move on to a no color. But they used to paw at the back door, and the second he would open the curtain on the sliding glass door, they would be like, they could hear it, you know, in the woods. They would just come running. It was always so funny. And my mom reminded me that when he was working and then his work went on strike for several months, he would feed them. He'd be home all day, except for when he had to go and, you know, do the picket line thing. And so he was starting to feed them like saltine crackers with peanut butter on them. And it got to a point where he was going through almost a jar of peanut butter a day. And so she finally had to tell him, like, you're not working. You don't get to just sit here and feed the squirrels all day. But he would just throw handfuls of peanuts out, unsalted, of course, because, you know, you don't want them to get, you know, high blood pressure and, you know, I don't know, explode. I don't know what happens with them. But there was a time, so we had, because it was woods behind our house, there was like all sorts of things that lived in the woods. There was squirrels, birds, you know, other woodland creatures, but there were also coyotes, and sometimes there were bobcats. There was a bear once, but mainly it was the squirrels and the birds. And he hated the blue jays. The blue jays were like his mortal enemy because they would swoop down and they would like dive bomb the squirrels and they would steal their peanuts. And in my dad's eyes, he was not feeding the blue jays. He was feeding the squirrels. So he would sit there and throw peanuts out, and then he would sit in the yard in like the, what do you call it, lawn chair, and he would have a BB gun, and he would try to shoot the BB gun at him, but I mean, he never hit him because they're so fast and stuff. But it gave him something to do, right? And then the funniest thing he did was he took some peanuts and he tied string around the peanuts, and then he tied the string to the lawn chair leg. So the squirrels, they would try to take the peanuts. They would, you know, encounter the string, and then they would just be like, oh, okay. And they would just gnaw through the string and then go about their business. Or they would just open the peanut, take the peanuts out, and run. Well, the blue jays were not as smart as the squirrels were. And so they would, you know, try to swoop down all stealthily, grab the peanut, and because it was tied to the chair, it would just go and rip back out of their mouths. And yeah, it was quite humorous, I will say. So, but then they finally learned that, oh yeah, I just have to, you know, cut the string, and then they could eat them too. But still, it was funny to watch them look very perplexed as to why they were not getting peanuts like they used to. So yes, Mr. Squirrel in the diamond painting, he needs a name. And let's see, I always forget that it's harder to see. Oh my gosh, so I got away, guys. Look at it. It's gonna go right there. Oh my gosh, Pippy, I'm sorry, I just crushed your face. Oh my gosh, somebody's gonna call like animal control on me, have my animals taken away. Sorry. Yes, lots of helpful comments last week in the video about the canvas slipping. That canvas, nothing would stick to it. So I did actually try some of the, like, I tried the washi. That did not work at all. And I tried the painter's tape, didn't really work either. So, but I have so many big canvases that I'm not even worried about working on any of the little ones right now. So this weight is how many pounds? 8 pounds. So he's a big boy. If the canvas moves when that's on there, then I guess the canvas has earned the right to move. Let's do letter K. And I think there were other few diamond painting events that I could technically use the same canvas for. There was one, I think it's called All Petals 24. I don't know anything about it. And there was another one that was, what was it called? Can't remember. I wrote it down, but can I find it on my paper? No, I cannot. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Let's see. Okay, let's do number K. Number K? Jeez. So smooth. There is a Regan, I don't know how to say the last name. It's Kubrick. She does stuff with, I know, Dreamer Designs and some other ones. But there's one in March, and it's sponsored by Art and Soul Diamonds. And so if you have a Regan, I'm just going to call her Regan, we're on a first name basis, then that is another potential one as well. Mine is not a Regan, so that one will not work, but maybe if a certain diamond painting that I've ordered today comes in time, maybe I can work on it for that. Because that's just one more thing that I got to kit up. So I have the, let's see, I still have the Trinity of Peace. I have not worked on that in the last week. I've really been focusing on this one after I finished the round one. And then I still have Layers of Ocean Magic, which is dumb that I'm not working on it because it is close to being done. But, you know, we all like to chase the shiny new things sometimes. That is what I'm doing. So, and I may try to finish this one and then start the one for Mermaids and Magic, the squirrel, but we'll see. We will see where the spirit takes me, because I don't know. It would be nice to finish something. It would be nice. Well, then part of me wants to work on my conversion, but I'm like, you can't work on that. You have so many other things that you need to finish. But yeah, I don't know. The more pressure I put on myself to finish something, then the less likely I am to do it. Because I know myself. I've known myself for many a year, actually. Go figure, right? Let's see. Okay. So that, I think, is the diamond painting updates. Oh, so one of my lovely crafty peeps is starting her own YouTube channel. So go and check it out. I will put a link in the description box. The description box is just chock full of things, you guys, okay? Seriously, I even have like some Amazon affiliate links for some of the stuff that I use if you're interested as well. So if you've never checked out the description box, you really should. Also, a link to my Facebook community is in there and well. But the YouTube channel is going to be called Diamond Painting with the Edwards. Now, I don't know if this means that her husband and family members are going to be participating in the diamond painting, but I'm kind of excited if they are, because I tried to convince my husband to maybe diamond paint with me, and he's like, I don't know about that. So maybe if I get some like encouragement from everyone, be like, yes, we would love to meet your husband, then maybe he will. He'll probably not be happy while he's doing it, but because he loves me so much, he probably would. Speaking of the crafty-ish husband, he and I had to go to the Verizon store because I needed to get a new cell phone. And it's always interesting when we go places, right? Because we kind of feed off of each other and we banter back and forth, and you know, we just kind of mess with each other. And sometimes people don't get it, and they, you know, like they think we're actually like being mean to each other or something, which I'm like, no, does it look like we're being mean to each other? But you know, maybe people can't, you know, read other people's, you know, actions and stuff. But I assure you that we are not purposely mean to each other. We like to mess with each other, you know, because, I mean, we have so many inside jokes, as, you know, you do with your friends and your close family and your loved ones. Are those squirrels? I cannot. Yes, those are squirrels. Okay. So we went to the Verizon store, and we walk in, and we kind of got there a few minutes early, and there is a Starbucks next door, so he got, what did he get? He got a breakfast sandwich, and I got, I don't know, I got something. I think I got a piece of lemon loaf. And so we were a few minutes early. So we're standing outside, you know, the Verizon store waiting, because you want to be the first to get in, because in case there's only one person working, you want to make sure that you're the first person they help. So go in, and it's a guy that's always there when I go into the Verizon store. And so, you know, we were talking, and I was like, okay, this is what I want. I know exactly what I want. And, you know, then he starts asking questions, and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that. I wasn't prepared for you to ask me if I want this bundle or that bundle. I was like, I just know what I want. But so we're just chatting. He's, you know, doing the stuff, and, you know, another girl who works there who, I don't know, she's probably like 20 something, comes up, and you know, we're just talking about stuff, and they were asking me about screen protectors. And my husband's always purchased these like matte screen protectors because he really likes them, and he feels like it's not as glary. And I have liked the one that has been on my old phone, but she was telling me about these other screen protectors and how they're like privacy screen protectors. So like if somebody tries to see your phone from the side, it kind of like, it makes it look dark, like your phone's not even on. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And so she was kind of showing me her phone compared to like a regular phone. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, I think I want to get one of those, right? And so I was trying to like explain like what my thinking was with the screen protector. And I said, well, it's kind of like, you know, when you're in the car and you see somebody who is like picking their nose while they're driving, and you don't like, you think maybe like, do they think that they have privacy glass or something that nobody can see them just, you know, up there digging around? And my husband looks at me, he goes, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, you know what I mean. It's like when somebody's in their car and they're digging for gold in their nose, and, you know, like they're just digging like nobody's watching. I was like, so it's like a tinted window. So, you know, like you could pick your nose in private. And he's like, why are you talking about picking your noses when you're talking about your cell phone? And I'm like, oh my God, does nobody understand what the hell I'm saying? And of course, everybody kind of looks at me like, no, we have no idea what you're saying, lady. So then I finally explained it properly. And they're like, oh, like tinted windows. I'm like, yes, like tinted windows. They're like, yeah, no, the screen protector kind of acts like a tinted window. I was like, well, that's what I was saying the whole time. God, you guys. So yeah. So, but we mess with each other, you know? That's just what we do. You got to keep things interesting. We were just talking about that today, actually, how he said he's at work and he'll say something, but it'll be more of like an inside joke between the two of us. Like, everybody kind of has sayings or phrases, right? That like you and your family might say, but no one else would probably understand. And he's like, I always forget that people don't always know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. Because, like, for example, when our son was little, he loved Thomas the Tank Engine. Like, we went through a phase, y'all. We went through a phase. Can I pull off y'all, by the way? I don't know if I can. But I always say y'all in my head. And then I say guys when I say the thing out loud. So let me know if I can pull off y'all, because I don't know if I can. I'm pretty Washington bred, so I don't know. Anyways, so Thomas the Tank Engine, right? Like the old one, okay? Not the new computer generated. Oops, I don't have a thing for trash drills. Well, we're just gonna put you over there. And so, you know, the narrator would always say, you know, Thomas was cross, and you know, Thomas would say things, you know, like if something bad happened or he was shocked, he'd say, cinders and ashes. And so we just, even though that was 10 years ago, we still repeat some of those things. Or like, Mr. Topham hat was cross. And so, but nobody else gets it, you know? Same thing, we were just this morning. Somehow one of us, I guess it was my husband, he used the phrase help rescue, and it was just the way he said it, it was just kind of funny. Like, you did something and you're like, help rescue, and somehow that is carried on over the years. And I could not remember where that initially came from. And he's like, I think it was some kind of like animal, like shelter commercial or something. There was like a cat that said help rescue, but I don't know. And so, like, yeah, do you guys have stuff like that where you might say something and literally no one else will understand it except for a family member or a friend that has that just inside joke thing? My mom, she'll say, don't make me give you the furry eyeball, which kind of means like, you know, kind of like a glare, but nobody knows what the hell she's talking about when she says that. Except for, you know, me, basically. Because my husband will be like, what the hell does that mean again? And I'm like, I don't think that's the right one. I think oh, it's stuck to the lid, whatever you call this thing. The pen tip. Yeah. So we have lots of those little inside things. But I had to get a new phone, had to get a new screen protector, and then of course, you know, you have to get a new case because they make the cases just different enough, so you have to. And then the guy's like, yeah, well, if you're using this certain kind of charger, right, that you're basically ruining your phone. And I'm like, what? So if you're using, and I don't know what all the little parts are called, basically like the thing that plugs into the light phone, the iPhone, the lightning cable adapter end, like that's the lightning port, and then the end that goes into the other thingy-mabobber that plugs in is something else. But there's a certain kind, like the kind that has the USB thing. If you plug that directly into like a USB thing, apparently that will like kill your battery and make your phone die way faster than humanly possible. And I was like, oh crap, well, that's basically all we use. And he's like, yeah, you don't want to do that. So then I had to buy a new case And then you got to buy one that has the thing on the back that, so you can like, you know, put it on the pad, the charging pad thingy-mabobber. But the cases that I really like don't have that. Or they have the little slidey thing so you can, you know, put your fingers in it, because I am a dropper and I drop things. So I like to have a little kind of handle type slidey magoo pocket thingy so I can kind of put my fingers through it, so I have an extra layer of safety on the, you know, expensive phone that might hit the ground. So yeah, it's just busy. And then I went to, our church was hosting a women's like conference thingy-mabob. I went to that, even though I don't really know anybody like well. I have like, you know, 1 or 2 people that I know, but nobody I knew was going. And, you know, it's kind of anxiety-ish, right? When you're going to do something. Okay, I cannot see any. I know there's drills, like there's spots, but I can't see any of them. So we're just going to open up this section right here, guys. And so I don't really know anybody. And so going and like having to, you know, like I know people are going to be nice. No one's going to be mean, but yeah. I went and it was fine. Everyone was lovely. I knew people were going to be lovely, but I was still a little panicky about the whole situation. But it was fine. It was fine. But, whew. I mean, I've been to like conferences and, you know, stuff before for various things, but it's always nicer when you know someone, right? When you have like a buddy to go with. Just so you don't kind of feel like you're just sitting there staring off into space. And you don't just want to sit there and like stare at your phone the whole time either. Ugh. Okay, why is that slippery right there? Don't be slipping around. I don't got time for that. We don't have time for that. Okay, let's... There is that. Okay. I had a slight bout of panic. I checked our bank account. I had like, so I have all over the place, guys, all over the place. I am horrible at checking email. Well, I check my email. I just don't delete things, and then important emails get buried. So I spent a good hour going through my email and marking things, writing things down, responding to things, and most importantly, deleting. Because I had over 1,000 unread emails, and that doesn't include all the emails that I actually have read, then it marks it unread. So I deleted a lot of emails. And, you know, then I was like, oh yeah, I need to pay the credit card. I need to pay this. I need to do this. And so I go online and I had to transfer some money from one account to another because we met with our financial person. Well, I met with my mom's financial person, and so I had to move some money for her. And then I was looking at our bank statement and I'm like, why does it say I've written 2 checks? I mean, I don't write checks. I think most people probably don't write checks like they used to back in the olden days, or like 5 years ago even. And I was a little confused because I was looking at it on my phone, number one, which is never good. And it wasn't showing me any check images. And I was like, well, that's weird. Because, you know, usually you can click on it and it'll show you, you know, the front of the check and the back of the check. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is the check number like 999,000 like 84 or something, you know, which, I mean, for our regular checks, I mean, they're like 1,010, okay? They're not high. I've probably never even written 1,000 checks in my entire lifetime, nor will I probably ever. It was confusing why the numbers were that high, and it was one for $20 and then another one for $40, and it just didn't make sense. It did not make any sense to me. So I was fully expecting to have to call the bank Monday morning and ask, okay, what are these checks? Can you please send me a link to what these checks are supposed to look like, who they're addressed to, and, you know, how do I need to change my bank account information? Did I get frauded? Because that would be such a pain in the butt. I mean, almost worse than when my Costco Visa got frauded, because then all of my automatic things had to be changed. I mean, same with our bank account. It's, you know, all of the regular bills come out of there. So I was about to call the bank on Monday morning, and I was not looking forward to it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awful. And I opened it up on my computer, which I should have done in the first place. And I looked at the statement, and it gave me an option to click on the check image. And I was like, oh, okay. Because my first thing was like, okay, did I pay for something at school? You know, because sometimes like school, you got to have like a check or something. Or did I write a check for something in September for school, and then it's just now getting cashed? Because that's happened too. But then the check numbers weren't adding up. We don't have checks in the 999,000s. I look at the thing and I see it, and it's like for healthcare, because I had to make a payment, and they said the easiest way to do the payments was just to you know, input it in your online bill payer, and then they will manually mail them a check, because they're not in the system of the bill payer, if that makes sense. So I kind of forgot about that. So here I was ready to call the bank, being like, why did you let my account information get stolen? And, you know, it was actually a legit thing. But I wish they would have, at least when it says like check number, blah, 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 I wish they would have at least written something like, you know, blah, 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 healthcare or something, because it would have saved me a lot of panic on Sunday afternoon when I was sweating bullets thinking that I'm going to have to, what is wrong with me? Have to change all of my bank account information. So crisis averted on that. But then I was looking through, because clearly I don't go online and look at the online bill payer thing or the online bank statement. And I saw that our power bill was a lot more last month than previous months. When I say a lot more, I mean $200 more. That was a unpleasant surprise. The problem is that it was okay, I'm just trying to grab this dryer sheet and it is not coming up. It was very, very, very cold for a good 2-week portion, last billing cycle, I guess you should say. And we have a heat pump, which is amazing most of the year. But when it gets to a certain temperature, the heat pump is not the efficient way to keep your house at a constant temperature. And I always forget this because, you know, like 11 months out of the year, it's perfect. Or maybe 10, realistically. Winter, it's always a little, because the beauty of the heat pump is that it acts as an air conditioner without it being an air conditioner. So it cools the house in the summer. So when it's cold, like when it was 20 degrees, you have to manually switch it over to basically the furnace instead of the heat pump. And the furnace uses a heck of a lot more energy than the heat pump does. And it was probably a week and a half of having to use the furnace. And so we looked at the kilowatt usage, which I don't understand. Yeah, it's not my department, guys. And we used 100 more kilowatts, I think, from the previous month than we did for the current month. But still, $200. Our bill last month was like $225. And then the last one that we just got and came out automatically, so I didn't see it, was like $430. So my first thing was like, everybody needs to start turning off those lights because everybody leaves lights on. I do it too. I'm not innocent, but still. Whew. Yeah, it was a bill that I was not expecting. Okay, I missed one right there. I'm just gonna put one of these there. Don't tell anybody. It totally goes. There's so much confetti in these little sections that one drill that's not the right color is not gonna matter. And if it does, then you can show me it when I do a post review. You can point out that exact spot and I will say, good job, congratulations. But luckily that was our only bill that was outrageously high, besides, you know, the cable bill, which I can't do anything about because my mom likes to watch TV. And it sucks though, because like you have to have a certain level of package to get certain channels, but like I have to pay this like sports fee. Nobody watches sports, so why do I gotta pay this like sports fee? I shouldn't have to do that. Just take off all the sports channels and take off the fee. Nobody here will mind, I promise. Although I did actually kind of enjoy watching the Super Bowl, I gotta say. I was intrigued by the whole sports. Like, it was actually kind of interesting to follow. Yeah. I don't know if it was a fluke, because maybe I was sick and I was like, you know, feeble-minded. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, go in there. Come on. Excuse me. So we have a Hallmark store in our city, and I kind of forget about it, even though I see it like every week when I go to the grocery store. And we actually went to the Hallmark store on Monday, and it was interesting. My mom insisted on buying this chicken that sings and dances, and it poops eggs out of its backside. Yeah. Oops, I forgot a few. So that was interesting. But man, I thought Hallmark store was expensive when I was a kid. Oof, like it just still expensive. But they had ornaments there still, guys. They had ornaments. They were 90% off. And I was like, oh, that's a good deal. But I mean, I don't know, my kids aren't as interested in, ornaments as I ever was. Like, I loved ornaments. That was one of my favorite Christmas decors. They could care less. Probably because we had to go so many years without having a Christmas tree. And this year we finally did. I mean, you know, after the cage got built around the Christmas tree. But still. So yeah, they don't have the ornament love that I did as a kid. But then again, when I was a kid, I probably didn't get as much crap as my kids get all the time. So it's not really special anymore, is it? So, and then we went to the jewelry store, because there's a jewelry store next door. And I was like, well, you know, since you bought the chicken, we might as well go over to the jewelry store to see if we can support, you know, local businesses, obviously. But I didn't buy anything. I was good. They had a bunch of really big rings, like rings with like big kind of like stones. They had these one rings. They were really interesting. They were these light blue kind of marbled, can't see my hands, marbled looking stones. And I guess they're from the Caribbean. But light blue is not really my color. I was like, do you have them in pink or teal? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Because if they were in pink or teal, I may have had to buy myself an early birthday present. Or bought it for myself and then told my husband that he got me a big stoned ring for my birthday. So he likes it when I do that though, because then he doesn't have to like try to like, you know, rack his brain to come up with something to buy me, because I'm picky, and it's just easier to buy my own present. All right, there's that. So no jewelry for us, but the girl who was working there, she was like, I don't know, probably 20-ish. I don't know. I feel like everybody looks 20-ish to me now. But But she had on the cutest sweater. Oh my gosh, it was pink, like a baby pink. And it had like red strawberries. I was like, oh, that is so cute. Like, I could not wear that color, but it was a very cute on her. And she said her mom, because she was talking about her hobbies, she said she collected rocks, like amethysts and, you know, stuff like that. And I said, oh, yeah, I said, I do diamond painting. And she said, oh, my mom does diamond painting. So that was kind of fun. Meeting other people who know about diamond painting. So I feel like a lot of people when you say you diamond paint, they kind of look at you like, huh? It's nice to not have to try to explain what diamond painting is to someone without it sounding, you know, really confusing. It's like, well, it's like color by number, but you're putting these little tiny pieces of plastic on, you know, a sticky canvas. Like, okay. But then even when you say that, people still are like, they just, you know, they can't picture it in their mind, because until you see it, you might not really fully grasp what it is. All right, let's see. What color can I see really well? Let's do this little teardroppy Drew. So I was watching a whip and chat, and I think it was, okay, whoa, excuse me, mister. Wait, you need to get out of my way. And it was from Elisa, the Diamond Stitcher. She is in charge of the, what do you call it? The DAC Canada Facebook group. And she's so sweet, guys. Oh my gosh, she's so sweet. She literally like recorded a little video, like, because I was like asking if like people like, hey, does anyone know how to do this? And she actually like recorded me a little video and sent it to me, which was so thoughtful. But that's not what I was. So she mentioned, I don't know if it was a whip and chat or two ago, about how, and I'm not trying to like be all like personal information or anything like that, but she was saying how, you know, people who don't have chronic illnesses, you know, don't really understand how much effort it can take for somebody who has a, you know, a disability or a chronic illness, or who's sick, or, you know, whatever the case may be, how much effort it actually takes for them to do some things. And so she was using the example of, you know, like, let's say everybody gets 20 spoons a day of energy. And she said, you know, like her husband, he can get up, get dressed, make coffee, have breakfast, and drive to work. And maybe that's only going to use one of his spoons for the day. But if you have, you know, an illness or something that's kind of slowing you down, that, you know, you might only get 4 spoons for your day, and just making coffee could use up one of your spoons. And so when you have, you know, when you have an illness, when you have, you know, just a limitation, and not, you know, every day could be different, that you really have to kind of like budget your energy and that, and which I never, you know, like, I mean, I know people who have illnesses, who have, you know, limitations, but it was a very interesting way to think about something like that, about, you know, like, you know, what might only take, you know, what I can do with 1 spoon of energy is not the same as someone else can do with a spoon of energy. And, you know, while most people might get 20 spoons, some people might only get 4. They might get 5, 6, 7, 8. But yeah, it was a good little like kind of reminder, I think, to people that, you know, and just because somebody looks like there's nothing wrong, I mean, we all know that, you know, a lot of us, you know, have, you know, anxiety or, you know, depression, or we diamond paint because, you know, we're trying to heal ourselves. It's kind of like a form of, you know, therapy. And so we, you know, we know that just because somebody looks a certain way or might act a certain way, you know, it can mean that there are things under the surface that, you know, we don't broadcast, we don't share. Oopsie. Sorry, kitty's face. Jeez, getting all violent over here. But yeah, it was a very good little, I mean, of course, she worded it way better than I am. But it was just, yeah, it was you know, I think it could definitely maybe help someone who who maybe has a family member or knows somebody who, you know, they might have something, and, you know, it's hard to understand things that we are not personally experiencing. Because it's one thing for someone to say, like, you know, hey, I can't do XYZ, or I have a really hard time doing XYZ. But until you are in that exact position, like, you don't know. You got no idea. So I think it's a good, gentle reminder to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's in my brain. It's hamster wheeling, I swear, guys. It's coming up. You know, to be courteous of others, I guess, you know, considerate, and, you know, like the old saying, like, you don't know what somebody's going through until you walk a mile in their shoes, or something like that. Maybe I butchered that. I probably did. But then again, I'm going to say, like, not trying to be all devil's advocate, but, you know, just because somebody is in chronic pain or has an illness or whatever, it does not give them the right to treat you how you don't want to be treated, let's say. So while, yes, people, you know, can have, let's say, mental health struggles or whatever, it does not give them full permission to act like a pile of dog crap and treat others, you know, like servants, or, you know, like they're less than human. So don't be a doormat, because, you know, we all can give grace, which everybody needs grace, but there is a cutoff point. And that's hard when somebody you love or care about is, you know, is the person who might not be treating you nicely. But you all are special, and you all deserve to be treated with respect. I am really loving this orange and teal color combo with this tray. I really like their trays, guys. I would totally order more, but, like, I don't need more trays. Of course, I don't need more diamond paintings either, but, you know. Oops. My finger slipped. It wasn't my fault. I'm going to blame my cat. It's all his fault. Let's see. Okay, go in there. What else? Oh, so I was gonna I was really curious, because, you know, mailing a bunch of things out gives me a little anxiety, because you know, mailing things is kind of tricky, because I want to make sure, you know, I address things properly and use good handwriting, which is really a struggle for me, guys, and all that. And so I was watching some videos on YouTube about the post office, and this probably, and I don't know if this just relates to the US post office, so, but it was showing, you know, behind the scenes, like how, you know, the mail is brought in and processed and all this stuff, and it is so elaborate. I mean, these giant machines are scanning things and marking them with different colored inks, and like then pushing them to different areas. And I'm amazed anything ever gets delivered anywhere, because holy moly, like, it looked so complicated. Like, that's just the machine sorting part. Then, you know, humans have to sort some of it. So yeah, I just was like, oh my gosh. I mean, in the video, like, some of the videos I watched were a few years old, so I don't know, maybe are the systems different now? I mean, that was like you know, one of them was 9 years ago. So do they have different systems than they did 9 years ago? I'm just amazed that things get delivered, guys, because these machines were just pew, 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 you know, sending letters every which way and scanning them, and they were going through the machine, and all I could think was, like, it would just take a tiny bump of that machine, and like the letters could just go shooting off everywhere or get stuck behind the machine and, you know, never to be seen again. So, clearly I've never been to like an actual, like, you know, mail sorting area, but still, I think like the closest thing I've probably ever been to is the library. How they kind of like sort the books out into which departments they go to. And that is not a very high-tech thing compared to this post office thing. But the one thing that kind of like is interesting, I think, to me about the post office thing is that this computer thing, you know, like it shoots the letters by it and it's reading the addresses and stuff. And it said it converts the handwritten addresses into like, you know, into a computer. Or not computer. Well, yeah, I mean, it you know, it translates the address into like a printed, like if it was from a computer address. And I have like, I mean, I always try to write nicely but I am an impatient handwriter. Always have been. Always. When I was a kid, I would get in trouble because the teachers would mark me down because my handwriting was so bad and messy. But it wasn't like big, you know, big weird handwriting. It's just I get in a panic mode, and so I start writing really fast. And when I write fast, I write sloppy. And so my it's all over the place. Like, I'm going to show you my little notepad near me because it's atrocious. And so if I want to write something that's legible, I have to take so much effort to write legible. I mean, half the time I'll write out a grocery list and no one else can read it except for me. And I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed. Could be. But I get nervous, like especially if I'm like at school and I would have to take notes. And, you know, the teacher would be talking fast, or there would be slides or a video. And so I would write really, really, really fast because I was worried, because if the slide went away, or the teacher, you know, was really, you know, given some good points or whatever, and then I couldn't keep up, then I would worry that I would miss something. So I would write really fast. And then I would have to come home and rewrite my notes, because if I waited too long, I might not be able to read and decipher what the heck I was trying to write my notes about, which was helpful for classes like history and psychology, because then, you know, it's kind of like you're basically just restudying your notes. But it was a pain, because people would say, oh, can I make a copy of your notes? And I'd be like, no, because you can't read it. But yeah, even as an adult, I rush, and I, you know, like I get, like, let's say you're like stream of conscious thought writing, you know, like you get excited and you write, then you leave out words, and because I feel like my brain goes a lot faster than my hand can keep up with. Even when I try to type, I feel like I can't type as fast as my brain is braining. So does anyone else like have that same problem of just, I mean, and my kids have awful handwriting, but I think that's just because, you know, it's a digital world, and so you're not writing as much as probably you used to. And I don't, you know, like, I don't know how to help it, you know? Like, I mean, I know as a kid and an adult, I would try those, what do you call them? There would be like workbooks, like, oh, love your handwriting, improve your handwriting. And I would try, but, you know, you're supposed to go slow and methodical. And, you know, my brain would be like, hurry up, get it done. So it never worked for me. Because I wanted to have, you know, cute, loopy handwriting, or, you know, I like used to do scrapbooking, and, you know, you would see things in magazines, like the scrapbooking magazines, and, you know, people would have these pages and they would just be like, oh, you know, so perfect. And the handwriting would be like perfectly like messy and quirky. And it was always like, yeah, my handwriting does not look like that. at this point in my life, it is what it is. But at least I know that if I ever, you know, write out like my grievances about my loved ones, there's a good chance they probably won't be able to read it, so. Which I'm kidding, I wouldn't do. I love my family. Well, I do, obviously, but still. Okay, wow, those are popping all over the place. I'm trying to slide these down. They are not sliding. There we go. Okay. And I'll fix it up once it's on my easel, but right now I can't really see what's going on up there. Excuse me, cat, you need to not be on the table. Thank you. You're moving things. Why are you doing that? Ugh. So, anywho's, I think, oh my gosh, okay, I'll tell this last little thing and then we'll be done. I say we, like, I'm no part of this. I read on our local, like, news in Seattle, there's a guy who, I think it was December, he borrowed an excavator. Borrowed, not stole, borrowed an excavator from a construction company. And then he proceeded over to the neighborhood park and like bulldozed some trees down. And this is like it's not like a park, not like where you know, kids go, and it looks more like kind of like a wooded kind of naturey area, at least from the pictures. And he bulldozed a bunch of trees, dug into the side of a hillside, and it cost, you know, $15,000 to fix what he messed up. And the guy, I guess, is homeless, and so they offered him, you know, like, hey, you know, do you need a place to live? No. So they let him go. They charged him $1,500, which I'm like, you're never gonna get, because if he's homeless, he probably can't afford a $1,500 fine. You know, I could be wrong. I don't know. Oopsie. What is going on? Okay, I don't know where that one went, but is that one? Yeah. Anyways, so fast forward, he gave a news reporter a tour of the cabin that he is building in the side of the hill, because in Seattle, you get to do whatever you want if you know, obviously, or, you know, don't want to follow the law, you can do whatever you want. And so he's building a cabin in the side of this hillside. And he's using, you know, found materials, obviously, like trees that he's cut down and whatever you know, want to say, like trash and I don't know what else. And so he gave a reporter a tour of his little cabin, hut, you know, whatever you want to call it. And oh my gosh, why are like 20 people texting me all at once? Seriously, I just need 1 hour of quiet. Anyways, but he's got several generators, and he's got propane heaters and like I don't know if it's a furnace or whatever, and a kerosene heater of something. And yeah, he's got several TVs, and he's got an old treadmill, and he has a washing machine. And I guess they keep offering him, you know, like, hey, you know, we can help you, you know, find, you know, a suitable home. This is not a suitable home. And he's like, no, it's fine, because he wants to dig for gold in the hillside. He's going to create a mine, and he's going to dig for gold on this, you know, city property. And nothing is happening, guys. Nothing. Like, it boggles my mind how somebody can literally be like, have something that's a giant fire hazard, number one, because you have gasoline, you have kerosene, and you have propane. And they also said there's several live wires going into this shed. But where is he getting the electricity from? That's what I want to know. And the neighbors, obviously, are not happy about this because, You know, I mean, I don't know if all those flammable things together could cause like some kind of bomb or explosion, but it can't be good. I mean, and if you have somebody living, you know, in a tent hut situation in the park outside your house, you know, I wouldn't maybe not feel the safest. But yeah, but nothing. Like, they're like, well, we can't really do anything about it. That's what the city says. They said it's a police issue. And the police, like, I guess they can't do anything about it. But I'm like, how? How can you not do anything about it? I mean, if I broke the law, I probably would get in trouble. You know, if I tried to steal something from the grocery store, dude, I would probably be, like, tackled and cuffed. But, like, somebody who has already been, you know, trespassed and damaged property, like, nothing. So, yeah. They're like, well, we're going to keep giving him fines. And it's like, oh, yeah. I'm sure that's gonna turn out favorably for you. I would love to be there when you get to collect the fines. But yeah. Like, why am I paying property taxes, like outrageous sales tax, gas tax? Like, why am I paying all my bills? I'm just gonna go and live in the woods or in the park. I mean, I don't even have to go to the woods. I can literally just, like, go to a park and be like, nope, I'm fine. I don't need a service. I'm fine. It's just, it's crazy. I feel like in our state at least, like, the police have absolutely no authority anymore. They just literally, like, have to watch as people commit crimes and do things. Like, it takes such, like, a dramatic thing to happen before they can actually do something. It's really sad. If I could move, I would. But then again, I don't know where I would move, because I don't know, is it any better anywhere else? Maybe not. Maybe it's not. I feel like being a, like, lawful, law-abiding citizen is not, it's not really, like, doesn't pay anymore. Did I cover? No, I did. I covered one. Just slide it up there. Oh, all right. Well, I think we're going to end that there because it has been an hour, and if it's over an hour, then it's going to take longer to upload. So I'm going to let you guys go. Check the description box for anything that I have rambled about or mentioned or, you know, pointed to. I don't really remember. And I will see you guys next time. Big awkward hugs. Bye, guys.